So this link, okay, having a practical guys, how to see. The first one is entire explanation of Active Directory means, sorry, our group and domain. And this part is about a practical part. Okay, so we have a domain controller, which is a centralized server. Okay, which is a centralized server. So we call it as a domain controller, which controls means administrate our domain. Okay, it is a group of PCs and group of users in the domain in the one single logical administrative boundary. To maintain this domain, so we need a domain controller. So what is a domain controller? The domain controller contains a service called Active Directory Service. Active Directory Service. In 2008 onward, 2008 server, 2012 server, 2016, 2019, this Active Directory, we call it as a Active Directory Domain Services. Okay. In this Active Directory Service, do two things. One is it maintain a database of users, groups, computers, and the resources kind of stuff. Okay. The devices, those who join into the domain, so that information is available in this database. You can create a users in the domain. You can create a groups. You can add a resources like a printers kind of stuff also. You can add to the domain. Okay. See here it is. It's a computer which is I am trying to join into the domain. So first of all, in the already I have a domain controller. So I have a computer which is I am trying to join into the domain. It is earlier it is in Workgroup. Now I want to join into the domain. Of course, this is in a already in a domain, but I will try to show you. So how to join into the domain. So I went to rename this PC, change. So normally Workgroup PC is under Workgroup. So member of Workgroup name will be there. Okay, it is already in a domain, so it is a member. So we have to specify our domain name. Okay, and then click OK and give the authentication. Okay. So it is already in a domain. So that's what I am so sure. Okay. Step. Oh. So next one is in a server. So yours is joined into the domain. This is my server. I am logging to my domain controller server. I log into a domain controller. Domain controller is nothing but a server which contains our Active Directory database. Okay. So here I went to Active Directory, users and computers, which contains information about my Active Directory means domain users. Those who are of this domain. So it is already, you can see I created a users, your IT user 1, IT user 2 in the server. Okay, here Apurva, Aniket, and there are some groups I have created. Okay. So the yellow folder kind of stuff is nothing but a OUs. In that OU only I created a user. Okay. So each OUs are having different users, either one user or multiple users, groups, computers are there. Now I'm creating a user in the domain controller. So this is my client PC. This is my client PC. Okay, so I have to create a user in the domain and I log into the client PC. So how many times I do this? Yeah, I'm creating a user in the server, means in my domain controller. So I'm creating Ashwini user. So I'm giving password to the user in the domain controller. So I came to my client PC. Okay, in client PC, I created a user in a domain controller. So now I came to the client PC. I log out from the local account. So I am trying to log in with the domain user account. So where I created a user, domain controller, where I'm logging to the where I'm logging to the user in the client PC. I didn't create a user in the client PC. I created a user in the domain controller. So I'm creating like this user at the rate my domain name. We can log in like that, or just only username, or you can give domain slash username also. Different ways to log in. Okay, so 3-4 ways we can log in. So that's what I'm trying to show you. So whatever it is, I given a username and a password. Now I'm logging to my client PC. So how can I log into this client PC? Because this client is already in my domain. This client PC is already in my domain. So I can log into this client PC with a domain user account, which is I created in a domain controller. Now it is creating its local profile. They are successfully logging in my client PC. Okay. So this is server. Okay. So I created a user in a domain controller. I log into the client PC. So client PC take time to log in. Meanwhile, I try to explain here about a group policy. Now client, it is a client PC. Now you can see, so username, it is showing. So now I successfully came to my client PC with a user which is I created in my client. Okay. So this is, so basically the first point in the domain and a domain controller and a client PC. So your user accounts we create in a domain controller so we can log into our domain computers. If you want to access any domain resources, also you need a authentication. So who is going to authenticate? You want to log into a domain computer or you want to access any domain resources or services, domain related services. Who is going to be authenticated? Your domain controller only. Why? Because of Your user information and user password informations, everything stores in domain controller. So what is a domain control? Domain is a logical administrative boundary of users and computers. Domain controller which administrate your domain, controls your domain. So then we need a domain controller, which is nothing but a server installed with a Active Directory domain services. This role is it maintains a database which contains information about users, groups, computers, resources, services, kind of stuff. And it authenticates users when they log into domain computers or when they log in accessing any domain resources. Not only authenticate, it authenticate as well as authorize. What is the difference? Authentication means verification of identity. Okay. Verification of identity. So username is correct, password is correct. So you are authenticated, but you are allowed to access. That is called authorization. Are you allowed to access this computer? Are you allowed to access this printer? Are you allowed access to this storage? That is called a authorization. So your domain controller do authentication, then authorization of to users. Okay. So just domain is a just logical administrative boundary. So ER belongs to this particular group. Guys. Simple to understand. You join in an organization. You join in one organization. Work. So you have to work for that organization, right? There is ABCD company. You join in there. You have to work for that organization. You don't work in this organization and another organization. Two organizations generally don't work. No? One organization. Best example is political parties. As my so many years back, my trainer said, my sir said it is like a example from political party. Here belongs to a political party, A, B, C, D political party is there. You are member. So obviously the political parties related resources, maybe they want to pay a salary for you. That is meant for what is the meant for your duties. You have to do it. What are the tasks there are assigned you have to do it. Okay. What are the resources they are allocating, you are getting it within that one only. Okay. You won't get other domains related, other outside people. No, you won't get that one, right? So simply like that, in a domain, user want to access a printer or a user want to log into a computer, user want to access particular service or storage, sharing folders, anything. Within the domain will tell you, so this is you are allowed to access, this is not allowed to access. Okay. What are the resources they are providing, you can able to access it. So instead of maintaining individually, so we'll do it in a one sum control under one single control thing. So that is a point in a domain. Okay, so why I showed this example, so user creation part. So to just normally telling is okay, but client computer generally you have a laptop, you have a laptop with your user account in it. So you want to log in, user account, username and password, then you can log in. Okay, in your laptop, your user information is there because you are in a workgroup. In a domain environment, user information and password stores in the domain controller only. So wherever you want to log in the domain, you can log in. Because who is authenticating? Domain controller. Okay. Understand, guys?
Sir, very good.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
compulsory check the video already I shared in your WhatsApp group. So second part only, guys. First part again, workgroup domain explanation only. Okay. But second part is also explanation parallelly workgroup domain plus this small practical. Okay. So why I stop here, I will tell you one small ticket. So like a ticket wise. For example, user forget his password. Okay. Is unable to log in, the password changes, or password is expired. So 42 days of generally 42 days of password is there. Password is expired. So you are a user forget his password. It's a complex password, he forget it. Then what he will do? He will raise the ticket. What ticket? Service request. So he send a service request. So I forget my password. Please reset my password. Okay. So then system the ticket goes to service desk and to the system administrator part. So what he will do? He will try to change your password. So how to change the password? Where is user account? In a domain controller. So you will go to the domain controller, the system administrator, and a service desk person. So what I said already, there is a different teams. So service desk and into the server. He open the user account. So then right click on user account, reset the password. So he reset the password and see he given a change the password successfully, and he will give a message to or through mail or through the portal. So he will give a message what it is. The client will get a means the user or get a the changed password. So what he will do? He try to log in with a initially I think I given a admin at rate of 123 password. Then I change my password. So again, user is trying to log in with a new password. Okay, guys, understand this? How to change password?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, very brilliant, sir.
Tell me, tell me. Which one?
Yes.
Reset password. So user is trying to log in to the computer. Okay. So what happened? So he is doing daily, but password is expired or he forget his password. So what he will do? Using some portal, email or something like that. So or maybe directly. So he writes tickets. Okay. So I forget my I am so and so name. This is my account name. I forget my password. Please reset my password. So this will go for this ticket will go to the system administrator or a system engineer. So he will log into the domain controller, verify where is your user account, okay, and change the password. And what are the password he changed it, he will inform to user. I didn't remember which batch I have taken this class, and 1 year ago means mostly it is some batch it is.
Hello,
Yesterday,
sir.
not only just the domain, yeah,
What is the use of Azure AD in the domain controller, sir?
is it in the
Azure AD, Azure Active Directory, sir. Is any role?
Okay, just wait. Okay, so I will tell this one, guys. So yes, good question. That is, what is the use of Azure in domain controller? Yeah, so that's a common confusion because I added both the things at the same time. Think like this. Servers with a different cost, like a tower servers, blade servers are there, and then rack servers. Each server has certain specification, high processor, RAM, and all these things are there. It is having some cost, operating system cost. And for maintenance of a server, we need a system administrator. For network purpose, network administrator, physical security, network security, storage management. Okay, and different people has to require to manage the server load, our data centers and all. Okay, so of course, it's a one single server, it is cost. Okay, but possibility is the server can go down. If server is down, service will stop automatically. If domain control is down, now it is 11 o'clock, for example. So 9:30 is a general office times, right? So 9:30 people are came, 9:25, 9:30, everybody came to office and try to log into their systems. 100 users are came to office. Now they are trying to log into their PCs. So what happened? Request go to domain controller authenticates users. Now domain control is down. What happened? 100 users cannot able to log in generally. Okay. So what happened? Server down, service down, work stopped. Big impact, right? Not only not impact, it is very high priority. Okay. Things can have happens, right? You cannot expect it won't happen kind of stuff. Understand, guys? Little mixer. So what I will do it, instead of one server, I'll put two servers. This is main domain controller called a PDC, primary domain controller. Then I will put a one backup domain controller, that is a new name is additional domain controller. So domain controller, additional domain controller. Domain controller is a primary domain controller. Another one is a for backup purpose. In this one, the first domain controller is down. For example, first domain is down. Then second domain controller will give authentication. So 100 users. So no need to wait for a system administrator or network administrator come and check the domain controller, repair kind of stuff. Then you need to wait for a 15 minutes or half an hour or 1 hour. So they don't need to wait because of already additional domain controller is there. So it will give you authentication. Understand?
Yes.
Okay. So this is called a redundancy or a failover. Failover or high availability. All names are same, guys. Failover or high availability. Not exactly same, but almost all same. That is failover. One server is down, no problem. Other server will give you a service. So client side, no impact. No interruption to the IT services. But there is an issue. Server is down, that is issue. But at client side or user side, no problem. They are getting a service. Server down, but service is available. This is called a high available. And of course, you may get a doubt, sir, what happened? Two servers are down. or more users are login means more load on a single server. Then I have to put another domain controller. Depends upon my organization, depends upon risk calculation, how to put a more servers. There possibility of two domain controllers down, possibility of more load on a single domain controller, so then it is performance will be less. So I'll put a more servers. Think like this. Cost of one single server is very high. And then the operating system managing is cost is high. Okay. Cost of two servers, cost of three servers, cost of four servers, and hardware cost, operating system cost, maintenance cost. Okay. CapEx. CapEx. Okay. So I have to buy a server, means I have to put some money. So my capital expenditure increases. And I have to maintain these servers, means operational expenditure increases. Okay. Expenditure. X means X, actually it is expenditure. Capital expenditure, operating expenditure, both are on the my organization only. Understand, guys, this part?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, what I have to do it? My organization is cannot maintain this much of infrastructure, and capital expenditure is there. Of course, that is okay. But operation expenditure is also day to day. It increases. Power supplies, security, everything increases. Now, cloud computing came into market. Different organizations are providing cloud computation. AWS, Azure means from Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS, okay. IBM Cloud is there, Oracle Cloud is there, Google Cloud Platform is there, right? So many organizations providing cloud computing. So what I will do, I will move to the cloud. So if you move to the cloud, you need to buy any servers. In a cloud also, they are maintaining servers, okay? But here in this one, you are not required to purchase any servers. The cloud computing service people will buy servers. We no need to buy. So capital expenditure is not there. And you no need to maintain their servers because they will maintain servers. Their in their organizations, in their data centers, they will maintain storage, they will maintain network, they will maintain firewalls, they will maintain servers, operating system, everything they will maintain. Okay, they have a people to maintain also. So no OPEX means operational cost. Capital expenditure is not there for your organization if you are moved to cloud computing. Okay. But you have to pay for what you use. You want a server? No need to buy. Just go to Amazon or Azure or GCP. So select what type of server you want it, how much RAM you want it, how much CPU you want it. So you have to select it. Then what type of operating system unit, Windows server or Linux server you want it. Select it. Okay. Okay. Automatically server will be created in their cloud platform. So you can access from your laptop from anywhere, anytime you can access through internet. You can simply access. So you don't need to worry about any security because they will worry about security. You don't need to worry about security. So no capital expenditure, no operating system, no operational expenditure. So what are the resources you require? What are the infrastructure you require? Just you will move to the Just you have to move to the cloud. Okay. Understand this point, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sure. One second. So many messages or so many notifications. Pragati is unable to join. Okay. Now our problem is Active Directory. In my organizations, I have to maintain an Active Directory environment, domain environment I have to maintain because I have 100 users or 200 users are there. For each system I can't maintain, so then I have to put a domain controller. Again, same problem. I put a domain controller, so then I need a backup domain controller or additional domain controllers. Capital expenditure, operational expenditure, people should maintain this kind of stuff. So what I will do it. Active Directory is a concept of Microsoft. And Microsoft Cloud is, what is a Microsoft Cloud?
Azure.
Azure. From Azure, also Azure, normally cloud is giving different kind of services. Uh, Virtual machines like a EC2 instances, virtual machines, app services, Elastic Beanstalk. Like so, there is so many type of storage services, network related services, platform related services, software related services that are providing. But from Azure, it is providing other services along with that one. It is also providing Active Directory services also. Okay. Active Directory services. So as an organization, what you have to do simply buy, take a subscription. So like go to Azure and go for Active Directory part in the Azure. Create what domain you want to create it based on your organization. For example, my organization is Latif Tech Solutions. So I created domain called latiftech.com. That is my domain name. I created in a directly in cloud. So no need of required any servers now. Okay, directly I go to Azure AD. So this, in Azure cloud, I go to AD Active Directory part, Azure AD part. Then I will create my domain name. So there is a money you have to pay for a domain. Now in your domain you have users and computers, right? So where you create a users in domain controller, where you create a users here under your Active Directory, under your domain name, you will create your users and you will join the client computers to this. Okay, so your computers list is here, user list is here, user passwords are there here also. So through internet, you can log into your Active Directory, log into your system anytime with your Active Directory account. Means your domain account, domain user can log in any account. So in this one, you need to maintain any servers, separate servers and network, firewall, these things you don't need to maintain. Simply go to Azure, go to AD services, Azure AD services, create a domain, create a users, passwords, groups, group policies, there only. Okay. And in a normally in a computers, you have to join our computer to the domain. So obviously we can log into any of our computer. So same thing. Okay. So this is what is Azure AD. It's a cloud service. Understand, guys? Any somewhat at least 50%, 20%, 10%.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
want
sir.
to learn, this Microsoft Azure. Simply go to learn.microsoft.com. Okay. So you have to log in with a Microsoft account. So there is a sign in option is there. So log in with a Microsoft account. So go to this trainings or learning paths like that. Okay. So you will learn. So already I have done something, but it is not showing my, okay. At least you can go to this Azure, select Azure. Okay. About describe cloud types services. Okay. Describe benefits of using cloud services. Azure fundamental describe cloud concepts. Okay. In this one also we'll get a what is a Azure Active Directory, how to create users and all we will get it. Okay. Free learning path, guys. It is. So lot of people paying so much money for learning to lot of online learning classes. I'm giving an idea. A lot of people are like to learn, but there is no proper guideline. That's why I will tell. So these are the learning paths. These are the where it is available information. Go through some friend or friend to friend or maybe some YouTube video where you'll get a overall idea first. Get a some overall idea, basic idea. Then go through some free learning paths. Start reading it. Why this is? It's a material which shows on your screen. Like you have to read it, not just like a YouTube video. You listen, you forget. But if you read, you will remember. Okay. So that's the point. You can read, you can practice, then you can choose a proper path and then do certification as per that one. Okay, like that. So that's the point. So get a basic idea, start learning. Then if you still required to get a shot is there, if you do this particular part and you will get promoted or you will get a new job, another job kind of stuff. So then do that one. Then if you put a money also, it will worthable. You put a 10,000 or 20,000 or 50,000, it is worthable. Now, initially only you put a 50,000, then you learn something and you don't get anything. It is waste of time. Okay. So, some people fetches, some people may not. It may not work for everyone like that. That's why I will always tell a free learning pass. I think so. Somewhat you got an idea now. Yeah. So I guess Ananya Navneet Pandey both are came now. So we'll go to Ananya. Anant Natkin
Yeah, it's present, sir.
Sir, I'm here from past 30 minutes.
came. Anant also came. Very Navneet came. And who is missing? Pragati is unable to join. Okay. Yeah, no one is missing. Okay, good. Okay, so guys, last in a class, I told about group policies. And when I told about a domain, and I said we can enforce different type of settings to large number of users and groups. I said about a basic a group policy. What is a group policy means? We create a policy and we do the required settings which we can want to apply to the users or computers part. Okay. So in this one, I think I'm trying to show you what is group policy part. what I'm getting. No. This is what I want, right? So I explained how to create a group policy there. If anybody want to learn basics of Windows servers, like a Windows Server, Active Directory, DHCP, DNS, practically, there is a lot of videos available, guys. So try in mine. Okay, so all are class recorded videos only. So here I try a plan that is my client should get a desktop wallpaper as per I said. Okay, normally we'll get a normal desktop wallpaper, or maybe user will choose a different desktop wallpaper. But I'm enforcing a settings. User must use this type of desktop wallpaper only. Why I tried that policy? Why? Because of it is look good. Okay. So first I need a picture and there is a shade folder, step by step. So class time recorded video now, so it's a little slower. So I'm logging to my domain controller. This is my domain controller. So I created a shade folder. In that one, I put an image in it and I draw something on the image. So I shared that image. Now I went to the group policy management window. So, okay, so I went to group policy management. In that one, under my domain, is the group policy object. Already one new policy it is created. I think it is second video. I'm creating a new policy object, create a policy. So I put a name, policy name, some name. Okay. So that's a policy. It's an empty policy. So I have to edit the policy. I have to edit the settings in that policy. So editing setting. So my policies I'm creating under user configuration only. Okay. So my policies. So what is my setting? My setting is related to desktop related settings. Okay. So we can do network related, application access related, folder redirection related. Okay. Firewall related settings, Wi-Fi SSD, SSID related settings, software installation settings, we can do it. Okay. But our policy is desktop wallpaper related. So I'm searching for any setting is related to desktop wallpaper. Okay. Here it is desktop wallpaper setting. In this setting, I enable that policy and I given a path that is where my picture is there. Desktop wallpaper picture is there. Okay. So now I given that information in my desktop wallpaper. In desktop wallpaper policy, I given that settings. So desktop wallpaper setting and that what kind of wallpaper it should be. Now I'm linking this policy to a OU. Okay, linking that policy to a OU. In that particular OU, we have a users. Okay. We have a so there is a Chandana is a user in that OU. So that policy is applied to that particular user. If there is 100 users are in that, all 100 users will affect it with policy. The policy will apply to these 100 users. The client update the policy. I try to log in with the user. But desktop wallpaper is not changed. It is showing as earlier. Then I'm doing some troubleshooting. Policy is updated successfully. Again, log out, log in because it's a user configuration. So while user is running, policy won't apply. Either you have to restart your PC or log in, log out, then the new policies will apply. So I'm logging to that user, Chandana, and I'm password. Now the client got the picture as a desktop wallpaper. Guys, understand? I didn't went to the client. Uh, I didn't put this wallpaper in client, from client, in client, and from client I go to client and create a one picture, and then I did I created this picture where the picture is located in the server only. From server, I created a group policy and I said apply to these users. Then the policy is applied to the users. So the user, whenever it is login, the policy is applied. So then that policy is related to what we can say wallpaper is applied. Okay.
Sir, what is the OU, sir?
OU means organizational unit. Okay. And what is organizational unit? Okay. So it's a simply can say it's a kind of folder part. So it is showing so many things. Simply we can say it's like a folder. In the folder, for example, in your system, you have multiple folders. Why folders? You download music files where you store music folder with some songs related one, right? So like that, in my organization, so many people are working. Software developers are there, HRs are there, network engineers are there, IT supporting team is there, desktop supporting people are there, testing people are there, Java developers are there, Python developers are there, business unit people are there. So different type of users, different category of users are there. So what I will do it in my domain controller, I will want to keep these users into separately. So how I create a organizational unit called a OU, organizational unit. So in the organizational unit, I will put these users separately. So I'll create a Java OU. In that Java OU, I'll keep all Java related people into that OU only. Okay, I will create a .NET OU. I will create a HR OU. I'll give you example. Not everyone in organization can able to access printer. But HR has to take a print, right? So anyone is joined or anyone is leaving, HR has to give the letter pad kind of stuff. So compulsory printer access is required. Not everyone is required. So what I will do, I'll go to the group policy. I create a group policy and do the printer related settings in it in a group policy. I link that group policy to the HROU. Users only. So because of this policy, all HR users will get a printer access. Okay. So organize the users, groups, computers and resources in a different volumes. Okay, and also we can give a delegation control. So this is the main what is volumes. Okay.
Okay, sir.
I try to log in with other user which is in a different volume. I like it. Now she's not getting this desktop background. So Chandana is getting a desktop background, but this Alake is not getting. Why? Because of the group policy is applied to a VOU. The VOU user is Chandana. Okay, this Alake is in a different VOU. So the policy is not applied to this. That's why I need it. I'm trying to share this one also, just for an example, like what is a group policies. You may get a doubt, sir. There is the good. No problem, no problem. Okay, so this like even in an interview we cannot expect what is the who is the interviewer, but even they will ask or not ask, guys, this information is always useful. Okay, and you may get some because of this. At least you have seen how it is works. But what group domain, what is an active directory, what is group policy, what is VOU, these are our most common. At least definition and 1 or 2 lines, guys, that is enough. Compulsory readability. But today's class I didn't start at now, so I have to start. So take a 5-10 minutes of break, guys. So come back at 11:45. Take a 10 minutes, just the 10 minutes only. So I won't disturb much. Okay. Then I will start with the DHCP and DNS, one part of class. Then we will see other part of class. I think you are all got an idea about what is this domain, work group and all. If you are in a work group, no one can able to force some group policy kind of stuff and all. No means no resources are allocated automatically from outside. Okay. It's like a server and serverless type. It's not like cloud server and serverless type. Okay. You go to hotel. Okay. Simple. This is my very old example. Okay. You go to a hotel. So like a morning tiffin center, you went. So what is that when you went and it is saying self-service. So what you have to do individually, you have to go to the counter. You have to pay money and then take in a token, go to the service counter, give the token and get the food, take it, right? No one is coming to you and to give you and take an order and give you serving. That is not there. It is a self-service. It's like a work group. You want to access a printer, so you must know how to access the printer. Your system has to be configured to access the printer. Either yourself or maybe in organization there is a person has to, the system engineer or a desktop support engineer has to configure in your laptop to access the printer. That is a work group. Understand, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Server means you went to a hotel, afternoon lunch or a dinner party. You went to the hotel, you sit on one table. Server will come to you, ask what do you want. You will take a menu. As per menu, you will order. I want this item, I want this item kind of stuff. Then server will take your order and serve the food. Eat the food, pay the bill. That's it, right? So important is server. Server will take your request, okay, and a server will give you that service. In a domain controller environment, in domain environment, the domain controller, the configured policies, users, user passwords. When you log into the domain, means when you log into the domain environment, the domain controller are already having policies, right? So you send a request. What are the policies are given to me? Then go domain controller. Yes, these are the policies are available. Take these settings. So I want to access the printer. So in domain controller, as per the printer setting, I will get that printer access automatically. So I don't need to do any configuration in my laptop. I will get that printer access automatically to my printer if any settings are given. Okay. Now you got the point now. So what is work group and domain benefits?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Server will come and give you a service. If you request service, you will get it. Okay, good guys. Take a break and come back. Just need some. We will continue. So that's it.